two pigtails coming off of it. The left one's pushing that side, the right one's gonna push this side. Sometimes we might be, when we set up, this might not all be the same because we gotta make it work, like in the area we got. So we might have two going down this side, or they might all run down one chain. It's just where the footprint is, or I know I've been I set up in soccer fields before. We set anywhere, so we gotta adapt and overcome. We're gonna send power to this side. How we know? How do we know, sir?
J1.
J1.
Yeah, J1 input.
And that, where's our power coming from? Yep. Now they got power. Any questions on the power plant?
What are the most common pitfalls when it comes to setting this up? Like, what problems do you generally see with this? How can we avoid doing those in the future?
So the biggest problems are connections. And as far as the engine goes on any piece of equipment, so all our equipment is diesel. Everyone knows that, right? No spark plugs. Diesel takes combustion. So you need three things: air, fuel, and compression. If you got three of those things, most likely that engine's gonna run every time. So if you check the oil, you check the fuel, you check the antifreeze, that engine is gonna last forever. So those are the main things, sir, that would cause a fault like that. But other than that, you don't see too much problem. It's usually really easy stuff, but if everyone's aware of it, then it's all right, I'm gonna go through one of the drashes real quick, just show you guys where the oil is, how to check the antifreeze, the terminals, the startup process, and kind of explain what the drash is really, the intent of the drash is for. Because there's a lot of times everyone thinks a drash is supposed to run the computer and the LUT or everything in their drash. That is not the intent of the drash. If we overload this drash, it's going to turn red. We're going to start getting faults. It's going to throw us some overspeed stuff. It's going to low voltage, all this stuff. So we only run the ECU. The ECU is what pushes our air, what pushes the heat. And also it's made to run the lights. So on the drash, your oil is going to be know who started this morning? Not gonna point any fingers. I'm gonna point out what's wrong with it. All right, you guys see these lights right here? This tells me that the breaker's on. The breaker shouldn't be on if you are not hooked to it. There is no reason, because if someone flips this, sticks their finger in there, if you're drinking a soda, whatever, it goes on there, and it gets in there, you're gonna get lit up. I promise you, it will happen. So how do I know this is this breaker?
Label. What about?
Does everyone know? Come up here. Come look.
The label?
You see? J1. J1. J2. J2. What's that, sir? It's a common thing. The military makes just about everything the same. So, our ECU's off now. So now it's time to tell it to go in cool down. All right, so this is like a smartphone. It has a cool down process. If you have the automatic start and stop, if the coolant gets too hot, if something gets low, if the oil pressure drops, if anything is wrong with this piece of equipment, it will shut itself off and tell you what's wrong with it. So it takes 60 seconds for this engine to cool down. So we're at 24 right now. Did everyone see how I did that? All you do, stop. And it's gonna cool itself down. Yes, don't just boom, 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 flip the switches and let that engine crash. It's not good.
Sorry, Kurt. The safety switch, can you get on that one with them? Because everybody loves punching those.
Oh, this thing right here, no one is allowed to flip it. If you see me flip it, I had the commander's approval to flip it. All right.
Kill switch.
So, when I shut down a machine, I press the emergency stop, and I would like everyone else to too, after the machine is completely off. That means I know no power is going to this. That means you're gonna be able to come out here tomorrow morning and crank the machine and it's gonna run. So the process in starting this, we're gonna make sure our emergency stop switch is pulled out. We're gonna turn on our battery switch. We're gonna turn on our gen CB7. There's directions, step to step, or step by step, on how to start it and how to properly shut it off. These two little tabs right here that no one is supposed to be going behind, please do not go back there.
Look back there.
Don't look back there. Don't do nothing back there. you will see me go back there a lot. You might see Sergeant Limehouse go back there. But as soon as people start putting fingers in here and flipping stuff, then I have to figure it out. Honestly, what's back there is a so if we want to share power with a foreign country, or we need to help, you know, share power with a foreign country, we got to switch that switch so we're able to dial back our machine or speed up our machine, and then we do some smart stuff in the computer, raise a couple things, drop a couple things, and yeah, it's all in the book. I don't like to read. I just know how to do it. All right, so please do not go behind that switch. All right, so we're gonna enable our automatic start and stop.
Hey, Sergeant Kurt, where's the engine
Yes,
oil and the coolant to check first?
I showed them where the engine
Oh,
oil is. All right, I didn't show you where the coolant is. Sorry. Our coolant is in this bottle right here. You see it? To add coolant to our actual radiator is through the top. Do not take that cap off when this thing has been smoking for 8 hours. You take that cap off, you're gonna get burnt. It's common sense. So, all right, you got your air filter, all that good stuff in there. So, we're good to go now. It's gonna have a pre-start. It takes 5 seconds, I believe. There we go. It's gonna crank up. It's gonna do the same thing as the 30K did. It's gonna take 5 seconds to get stable, whatever. All right, so now we're good. We got a light. We got a yellow light. It says warning bat voltage. Our voltage on our batteries are a little low, but that's gonna clear out. How you clear that fault? Fault reset, bam. You're good to go. So now we're ready to send power to our ECU. What we do is close the GCB. Everyone here kick on? So now I got power to my breakers. I'm ready to send power to J5. So I flip J5. All right. Always turn on your load shed and your anti-wet stacking. This is how we send air. We got heat, we got high heat, we got fan. All right, so now we're sending air. This is the temperature. Do not play with the temperature. If you're too cold, too hot, find a maintenance personnel. We'll look at it, because if we turn that thing to 60 degrees, and it's gonna put a lot of load on that. So we're gonna have to maybe bump something up on the computer, or, you know, do something different. So, or hook up to the 30K. if your generator starts, it's running good, and it just shuts off. Most likely, it's because that switch is off. Because there's no fuel going to the engine. Then you're gonna have to come to maintenance, and we're gonna show you how to bleed the lines and take off the filter, and it's gonna be a dirty process because these things ain't smart like this dirty cage. So don't run them out of fuel. That's about all I got for this class. If you guys have any questions at any time about this, I have spent a lot of time with this equipment. Any questions?
Got one carry behind you.
How did I do it? So, yes. So you would start at your far M100. You turn your breakers off. All your breakers come off. All your breakers come off. That means all the power's killed to that. And then you do your process backwards. Any other questions?
Show them what those plugs are on the car fuel. With a spare barrel, and we have a barrel system hooked up.
Don't make this harder than what it is. Alright. That's good. Did you guys learn something?